Morning. Back to Highlands, lakes, big skies, beaches, or at least beaches around lakes. Online there are literally millions of photographs. Many are copyright free, they're freely available, but I don't want to take a risk of showing you what I'm working from, just in case. So it's Scottish Highlands. It will only be an estimate of what's there, an improvised painting, just to show how I would work from any photo really. I don't profess to have been to the Scottish Highlands, but I can make them up. But it's always nice to work from some reference material. You just don't have to be literal with it. You just do your own thing. After all, we're creating art and not photographs. We just use photographs as an aid memoir. Okay, so the paper is Fabriano, £130, very suitable for wetting wet. I haven't really explored its possibilities as a water-free type painting. I don't think it's very good for what limited attempts I've had with it. It's not forgiving. It's okay when it's using it the way we're using it, wet in wet, but Arches and Saunders and good quality papers. Well, this is good quality, but it's cheap, and it's slightly lighter weight than we'd normally buy for £140 weight. My palette, I've been sort of wrestling with what to show and what not to show. Here it is, it's the Ron Ransom palette, but I've added the burnt sienna, so there are 8 colours on there: lemon yellow, raw sienna, alizarin crimson, light red, ultramarine, burnt umber, Payne's grey and the burnt sienna. I can't show every mix because after all I'm showing you a painting demonstration. Mixing paint is something you'd have to learn to do by trial and error and doing a lot of it. We know that if you mix a blue and a yellow you get green, but what yellow do you use and what blue do you use? Do you use 3 blues on your palette and 6 yellows? The idea of this palette is to keep things as simple as possible and avoid confusion. Throwing colours at your work won't improve it. Learning to use a limited palette and exploiting every avenue with those paints and what they can do, that's the way forward. Not throwing this colour in because that colour didn't work. There's nothing perfect. You have to make it up, and it comes from years of practice. And I keep stressing, painting is not easy, but it's not impossible. It rewards hard work and years of study. For most of us it's a hobby. Sometimes you can sell your paintings, sometimes not, but we primarily do it because we want to do it. We want to create our own stuff. And they say the height of bad taste is putting your own paintings on your own walls. Well, I've got my walls covered in my own paintings, so it shows how much good taste I've got. Right, so we'll start. We'll wet the paper all over, wet in wet. And I'm going to put a wash of colour over most of it. What I've done here is to put a horizon in. I'm fed up with going uphill. I start here, go straight there, and all of a sudden it seems to go upwards. So we'll give that a miss today. We'll just draw a horizon. It'll disappear in the paint anyway. Okay, so a nice bit of warm. Put it over where the water's going to go, and then we'll put a bit of blue in, just a bit of ultramarine. When your brush splits, it comes together if you do that, but you can see that the hake, the 2-inch hake, is bound into this ferrule, this flat bit here, in clumps, and the clumps tend to separate. But it's a very cheap brush. and just repeat in here, and then we'll put in some cloud. Mix a bit of light red with the ultramarine, and you get a nice cloud colour. You can use Payne's grey and ultramarine. And just some come down here. And just repeat that in the general water area. I'll just go a bit darker and a bit of that, because there seems to be cauliflowering there. Right, okay, so we'll put in a bit of background using those colours. And we'll put a bit of warm in there. Mix your colours to avoid monotony and create an air of something going on. And a bit darker. And then we'll put in some harder trees here. Right, we'll put in some trees there, using a bit of brush here and a bit of, you need thick paints when you're painting over wet. Okay, that just, I've got a bit over the edges there, but right, we'll put in some darker greeny just add some interest in the distant hills. It will all soften, but we just want to put some tree lines, trees in here. And you can see it's going into the misty. I could blot it out with tissue, but I'm not a great huge lover of that, really. So now we've got a much larger weight of mountain on the other side, so a bit of blue, a lot of blue, and then we'll warm it up as we come into this area here. Plenty of colour. Nice bit of burnt sienna, raw sienna. Look at that one coming around a little bit there. Right, I'm just going to stretch the paper a bit. Okay. Now I'll put in some trees on there as well. Then I'll lift out some rocks just to make it a bit interesting on there. Okay, take a card and just etch out some. These don't exist on what I'm working from. I'm just adding a bit of detail. So if you don't like what's there, just change it. Although let's face it, we can't really improve on nature, but we can move it around a bit. We can add and subtract. We can move trees and add a bit of rock. Okay, so that'll do for our background for the moment. Can't see much else I could do there. So right, I'll start to put in a bit of foreground beaches. Move that. We'll get some nice green. Blue, I think. And that's mixing blue with the yellow. It's a different, warmer green than using Payne's grey. Payne's grey is a great shortcut. So is black. I like using black in acrylics and oils. Put a bit of red in there, I think. A nice bit of. And we'd need a bit of rocky, sort of burnt umbery, Payne's grey. And here, just do this quite quickly. This foreground here. Bit of spatter in there. And a few little no, that'll fill in too quickly there. Right, I'm going to put in some grasses. I want a dry brush for this. So a few dark bits. Just scrape out a few. And we'll do something similar, leaving a sort of an opening with a bit of space for water reflecting in the sort of marshy sort of edge of the water here. I'm just mixing up a bit of a peachy colour there. Bring that down there. green. Right, now we want some nice darks in there. Going to use a rigger in here. I use a small rigger, I don't think you can call it a rigger, it's a usual number 1. Need some black in there, well, grey. Just to add a bit of texture. Flicking up, just to show some nice grasses and the reflection. Want some nice greens on the other side now, so I've used the Payne's grey. My palette is quite dried up. It's like the old type of paint boxes. I find paint boxes with a H is a bit about impossible. But of course, if you're using nice round sables, you can aim them into the tablets of colour. I've got both. I use that type of the old-fashioned type of paint box. I've got a couple of nice ones that I use if I'm on holiday, if I want to sketch, colour sketch. I'm going to try a stipple on this, I'll probably ruin it, but right, don't know if I want to put spatter on that. I might put some little yachts on there. Now a bit of greenery. A bit over here. Right, okay. I can't think of much more to do with the foreground without actually over cluttering it, to put this texture in over those washes. Now, bit of spatter. Right, how are we going to do that? I've got a brush. The toothbrush is very good for spattering. But somewhere on here, in this mess, I've got got a brush that is very cheap, synthetic brush, but I don't think I'm going to find it. So I'm going to use one of my oil brushes or acrylic brushes, but I'm going to have to where I don't want any spatter, pinch of water, so blue and grey, grey and pebble colour. Just there. Oops, probably ruined it now. But never mind, we can do something with that. Let's just soften that a bit. I'm just bodging now. I'm just not something I normally do, but I'm going. There's not much I can do about it now. It's probably better before much about it. But I'm just going to give that a try. So take your headphones off. Right. What I'm going to do now is to just put a bit of dry brush. Now, this is sort of still water here, so using a bit of the sky colour, I'm just going to and a bit of blue. Okay, that's got a bit awry there. That wasn't quite dry enough, so headphones off. Right, now with the hake, I'm going to just no, it's not dry enough. That wasn't quite the colour I'd anticipated, but because I should have cleaned my palette first. So what I'm going to do is just a bit of blue and burnt sienna, just showing these reflections in that still water. The same reflecting over there. Don't know if that will register. Okay. So just coming over. I'm going to leave that. I'm going to put in some little. I'm going to find my gouache. When I finish with the paints, I just sort of throw them on the table. There's a swig of cold tea now. I don't put this bit of white on my palette, which is now a mess. I put it on my little table here. I've got a bit of furniture. There's a bit of a ply from a wardrobe that I cut down years ago, and it makes it increases my working surface, and I use it neat to when I do oil paint. So I put the oil paint on it. So it's got loads of linseed oil on it. So I'm going to be putting some little boats. Just add a bit of interest. Try not to overdo it, of course, which I usually do. Right, okay, so I don't think I want to do much more to it than that. I don't want to ruin it. I think parts of it are quite nice. It's got a nice lost and found on the hills here. We could put a couple of eagles in, I suppose. So a bit of blue, just a bit of palette grey. Let's put it in this nice. Right, we'll sign it and we'll have a look at it, see. I always sign over here. Okay, so that's that. Normally, I've been with the Old Men Riding Badly on Bike Society on our weekly trip along the River Wanderoo and back, but the weather is absolutely awful at the moment. After the 2 weeks we have had, it's now very iffy. Oh, I'll just clip that so that you don't see the cast shadow. That'll do. So there we are, Highlands, Scottish Highlands. I'll think of a title that I haven't used before. I'm reasonably happy with that. So I've got some people coming to look at some of the demos later. They're from Portugal and they're both subscribed to my channel. They're staying with a neighbour friend of mine, my loyal supporters. Right, well thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed that. See you soon. Bye bye.